The crystalline chambers of the Galactic Council had never witnessed such silence. Ambassador Zethkri of the Vorthak Empire flexed his forearms nervously, the usual purple sheen of his carapace having faded to a sickly gray. Across the circular table, High Counselor Yixara's tentacles writhed in barely contained anxiety, her bioluminescent patches flickering erratically. "The humans," she whispered, her voice translator struggling with the tremor in her words. "They're not what we expected." It had started 3 months ago when humanity first made contact with the Galactic Council. The bipedal species from the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star had seemed primitive, weak even. Their fragile pink skin, their reliance on crude metal tools, their inability to photosynthesize or regenerate limbs, all signs of an inferior race that would either be enslaved or quickly eliminated from galactic affairs. The Council's xenobiologists had filed their reports. Humans were physically unremarkable, possessed no natural armor or weapons, and had ridiculously short lifespans. Their planet was a death world by galactic standards: volatile weather, deadly predators, and an atmosphere that would corrode most civilized species' respiratory systems. Surely, the Council reasoned, these humans would be easy to subjugate. The first diplomatic meeting had been a formality. Ambassador Chen Wei had arrived alone, dressed in simple black fabric, carrying nothing but a small metallic device. The Council members had barely suppressed their amusement. Here was this tiny, soft creature, thinking it could negotiate with beings who had conquered star systems. "We come in peace," Ambassador Chen had said, his words translated through their universal communication array. "But we are prepared for any outcome." The Vorthak had laughed, a sound like grinding stone. The crystalline Zelhari had chimed in harmonious mockery. Even the usually diplomatic Yixara had allowed her tentacles to curl in what her species considered barely polite disdain. That had been before they saw the recordings. Ambassador Chen had activated his device with a simple touch. "Before we discuss terms," he had said calmly, "perhaps you'd like to understand who you're dealing with. These are historical documents from our species' military conflicts." The holographic display had filled the chamber's center, and what they saw changed everything. The first footage showed something called D-Day. The Council watched in growing horror as thousands upon thousands of humans threw themselves against fortified positions, accepting devastating casualties without hesitation. Bodies fell like rain, yet still they came, wave after wave, their primitive projectile weapons spitting death across beaches painted red with their own blood. "This is from our Second World War," Chen had narrated matter-of-factly. "We call it the war to end all wars, though of course it wasn't. We fought it primarily with chemical explosives and metal projectiles. Approximately 70 million of our people died in 6 years." The Vorthak ambassador's four eyes had widened. 70 million casualties in a single conflict? His own species considered a battle costly if they lost a few thousand warriors. The recordings continued. Urban warfare in burning cities. Humans fighting room to room, floor by floor, dying for every meter of ground. Soldiers charging machine gun nests with nothing but determination and steel in their hearts. Pilots ramming their aircraft into enemy ships rather than retreat. Marines holding impossible positions against overwhelming odds, their battle cry echoing through the chamber. No retreat, no surrender. Then came the nuclear weapons. The mushroom clouds bloomed in the holographic display like flowers of annihilation. The Council members recoiled as they witnessed humans unleashing the power of stars against their own cities, their own species. The translator struggled to convey the scale of destruction. Entire metropolitan areas reduced to radioactive glass in seconds. "We invented these weapons," Chen had continued, his voice never wavering, "and we used them against ourselves, because we were determined to win no matter the cost. These were not our most destructive wars. We have documentation spanning over 5,000 years of continuous conflict. Would you like to see more?" The silence that followed was deafening. High Counselor Yixara had found her voice first, her bioluminescent patches now pulsing in rapid alarm patterns. "Your species. You wage war against yourselves?" "Constantly," Chen had replied. "It's how we evolved. Our planet tried to kill us with ice ages, volcanic eruptions, meteor impacts, and predators that could crush our bones with their teeth. So we became very good at survival, very good at killing, very, very good at refusing to give up." The Zelhari representative, a being of living crystal who had existed for millennia, spoke in chiming tones. But surely these are ancient conflicts. Your species has evolved beyond such barbarism? Ambassador Chen had smiled, an expression that now sent chills through the assembled council members. Would you like to see last month's footage from our ongoing conflicts? We have 17 active war zones currently. We call them minor conflicts. The recordings that followed showed modern human warfare. Precision strikes from orbit, soldiers enhanced with cybernetic implants fighting in environments that would kill most species instantly, humans breathing recycled air in the void of space, their weapons powered by contained fusion reactions, and still, underneath all the technology, that same terrifying willingness to die rather than yield. We've been preparing for galactic contact for decades, Chen had explained. We assumed we might encounter hostile species. Our military doctrine is simple. If you threaten our survival, we will destroy you completely regardless of cost. We will irradiate entire star systems if necessary. We will crack planets. We will turn the galaxy into a graveyard before we accept extinction. The final recording had shown humanity's newest weapons, planet crackers, stellar manipulators, weapons that could cause suns to go supernova. The technology wasn't sophisticated by galactic standards, but the sheer audacious brutality of the applications made the council members' various bodily fluids run cold. Now, 3 months later, they sat in emergency session, the ceasefire papers spread across the table like peace offerings to an angry god. Every major galactic power had signed. The Vorthak Empire, masters of biological warfare, the Zelhari Collective, with their crystalline dreadnoughts, the aquatic hegemony, whose psychic abilities could crush minds across light years. All of them had looked at humanity's historical records and reached the same conclusion. This species was insane enough to actually do what they threatened. Humans didn't bluff. They had proved it repeatedly against their own kind for thousands of years. Ambassador Zethkri picked up his quantum stylus with shaking hands. The terms are generous, he muttered, signing his name to the document that established humanity as a protected species with full galactic citizenship rights. Very generous. High Counselor Yixara's tentacles curled as she added her biosignature to the papers. We should be grateful they're offering peace terms at all, she whispered. Most species in their position would simply start shooting. The chamber doors hissed open, and Ambassador Chen entered still wearing that same simple black outfit, still carrying only his small recording device. He looked exactly as harmless as he had 3 months ago. The difference was that now everyone in the room understood what that mild-mannered exterior concealed. Thank you for your prompt consideration of our proposals, he said politely, collecting the signed documents. I'm pleased we could resolve this diplomatically. Though I should mention, our military asked me to inform you that we've established defensive positions around our solar system. Nothing too elaborate, just a few thousand automated platforms. Standard procedure when dealing with new civilizations. The council members exchanged glances. Standard procedure for humans apparently meant weapons platforms capable of sterilizing worlds. As Ambassador Chen prepared to leave, High Counselor Yixara found the courage to ask the question that had been haunting her for months. Why? Why are your people so willing to die, so willing to inflict such destruction? Chen paused at the doorway and turned back. For the first time, his expression softened slightly. Because we learned long ago that there are things worth dying for. Our freedom, our families, our future. And once you know what you're willing to die for, you become very hard to stop. The door sealed behind him with a soft hiss, leaving the council in contemplative silence. Outside the station's viewport, stars twinkled in the cosmic dark, including one small yellow star that everyone now knew to avoid. The galaxy had a new apex predator, and it wore the face of quiet diplomacy while carrying the soul of endless war.